So, good evening to you all. I am so excited that we are starting a new journey. Just yesterday, we finished a journey on emotional intelligence, and today we are starting another journey on alternative dispute resolution. So, we are not resting at all. We are not resting at all. And I want to sincerely appreciate all of you who have registered for this training. We have over 800 people who register for this training. And some people did not know that we have a WhatsApp link attached to the form for them to click and join the group. But we are going to add them in the group so that they will also be part of what is going on here. So we want to appreciate you for your commitment to continue to join this training. For us, it's because of your participation that we are being encouraged to continue on this journey. So we are happy that you are taking steps to know more so far as this field of peace and conflict resolution is concerned. If all of us have knowledge of conflict resolution, we have knowledge of peace building, then we will not have any challenge in our society at all. I can tell you that countries that have mastered this, they don't have. If you go to Iceland, I come to understand that in Iceland, for instance, now, the prisons are not working because there's nobody to send to prison. The court doesn't have anything to pass judgment. Do you understand? The country is peaceful. Do you understand? The country is peaceful. That's what it means. They have so much knowledge of what peace is all about. And they have built institutions that promote peace. And individuals consciously do things that promote peace. So it's good that you people have taken the step to have knowledge of this. You have this knowledge, I can tell you and I can guarantee you that it's solve 70% of problems that result into conflicts. Do you understand? You will not take certain issues serious. And then you also will have the skills to address problems when they confront you. So you'll not be having any challenge at all. So it's good that you have taken a step to register for this course. And we appreciate your commitment and your dedication for this training. So I welcome you as we start yet another journey while you are still preparing for your examination on emotional intelligence. I hope all of us who participated in the training have gotten the study manual and we're working on our examination. So prepare, you're going to write your examination on Saturday. So don't forget it. That is for the training we just finished. So for this one that we are starting today, till the end of the month, then we'll write our exams and then also you have your certificate. So the training is organized by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. And the training is 100% free. No hidden charges. We are not asking you to pay for certificate at the end of the training. From training to certification is 100% free. Do you understand? So you're not paying a dime. So I think we are on the same page here. So thank you very much for taking your time to be part of today's training. Today we are starting a journey. So we are going to introduce the course that we are going to study in this month, which is alternative dispute resolution. Alternative dispute resolution. My name is Joshua Tahule, and I am the one going to take you throughout this course. So we are going to have a journey together. It's going to be an interactive journey. It's going to be a learning journey. Do you understand? I will be learning from you. You will also be learning from me. And then we'll be supporting each other. And then we also will be promoting peace together. Because by the time you share with people, they come to know about what is happening here, giving them opportunity to participate in something for free, something that will benefit them. So that's what your shares means. It means that you promote peace. That's number one, by reaching out to somebody, and then you are giving someone an opportunity also to take advantage of this training and learn something. Because we are on a journey, we are not stopping. All right. By next month, we are going to do peace and sustainable development. Peace and sustainable development. I just announced the next course that we are going to do in October. Peace and sustainable development. But this September, we are dealing on what alternative dispute resolution. So even if somebody miss this one and take the next one, and then we'll see how other ones coming. Do you understand? Maybe in November we'll be looking at peace and conflict management itself. So you have to be here. You just have to be here, and then you share it with someone so that they can also be part of what we are talking about here. All right. So that's what it means. So thank you for taking time to connect for today's training. All right. So we're going to start right away. We're going to start right away. You can uh, in the course of the training, you can comment and paraphrase what you understand. If you have any questions, you ask in the comment section, and then you also do way to share with your contacts. Put it on your walls. Do you understand? Let others see what is happening here. Like we have said, we are going to be very strict about this training. You understand? We are not going to take it we are not taking it for granted. If we must be consistent, we must participate, we must be consistent. That's what it means. So, because we're going to take attendance, serious attendance is going to happen here in this training. So, do way to share, because these are the things that we're going to use to take your attendance. Already, we have printed your names already, because you feel from we printed your names every day. We finish, we are going to, like as I'm talking to you now, somebody is going to take your attendance. As you are live now, somebody's going to take your attendance. So if you can comment, if you are joining the meeting on a neutral name, that is not your name, please comment your name so that we'll know your name and verify it in our register. Do you understand? So if you are joining with, like, maybe you are with your company name, please mention your name so that we know that you are the one, so that we can be able to mark your attendance. Do you understand? So it's very important. So this one, there's no hide and seek game here. So share, comment, and then you like. So that's what we are doing here today. So I welcome you as we begin this journey today, the journey of alternative dispute resolution. You want to know how you can resolve problems without necessarily going to court. You go to court, you waste money. You go to court, you waste time. You go to court, you destroy relationships. Court create enemies, not friends. The only thing that builds relationship is alternative dispute resolution. You resolve your conflict without creating an enemy. You may have a disagreement, that's fine. Do you understand? But you make effort to resolve your conflict out of court, and then you keep your relationship. But once you go to court and court pronounce a winner and a loser, then the loser becomes an enemy automatically. You understand? So that's what it means. So this is what you want to learn here. How you can resolve your differences out of court. All right. So we are going to have an interesting time together and journey to, go together. So let's briefly look at what alternative dispute is all about. Let's look at the introduction. All right. Let me not even go through the introduction but first and foremost, let me just say that alternative disputes refers to a variety of processes used to resolve conflicts and disputes outside of traditional court litigation. You understand? When you refuse to file a case in the court of law, you look for ways to resolve your conflict out of the court, then what you are simply doing is that you are deploying the tools of the alternative dispute resolution. That's what this is all about. Do you understand? So, and in alternative dispute resolution, we'll be looking at things like mediation, arbitration, negotiations, and even conflict resolution. Do you understand? These are some of the things that we're going to focus our attention in this discussion. Definitely, we're going to look at other factors that will help us to have an in-depth understanding of alternative dispute resolution. All right. So let's look at the learning objectives. What are the learning objectives? What are the things that you are going to look at? Because if I ask you what is alternative dispute resolution, some of you can give me an idea of what alternative dispute resolution is all about. Some of you may have zero idea of what it's all about, but by and large, we have um, pointing out some learning objectives that are going to guide this training. So at the end of the day, when the training is completed, we'll make sure that these learning objectives are embedded, and that's what you're going to learn. All right. So we say that in this training, you are going to learn and define the concepts and terminologies related to what ADR, like mediation, negotiation, arbitration. You are going to define some of these concepts. You learn them, define them. Do you understand? So, and then apart from that, we say that you will learn how to compare and contrast. Like, for instance, now you compare and contrast between negotiation and mediation. You understand? This is one thing you are going to do. All these ADR processes. So you're understanding the strength and the weaknesses of each of the methods. Do you understand? Then we talk about exploring the responsibilities and skills required of mediators and arbitrators. So you are going to look at the various skills that are required of you when you are being regarded as an arbitrator, or when you are regarded as a mediator. Like now, if you join the membership of the institute as a member of the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management, we certify you as a certified global arbitrator. We have this title, a certified what? Global arbitrator. Then we have another title called certified mediator and negotiator. Do you understand? So when you become a member of the institute, you can choose any of these titles based on the skills. Maybe because of this training now, maybe you tender this certificate and you choose the title of arbitrator or negotiator, then you are in line because you have a certificate backing the skills and the title. Do you understand? That's what it means. So you know what is required and the skills expected of you as a mediator and arbitrator if you want to become one. So including how to maintain neutrality and facilitate discussions. It will also teach you, this training is going to teach you how to facilitate discussions without taking side, so that you can maintain neutrality. That is, you are a neutral party. You are not taking side in any form of discussion, so far as you are making effort to resolve conflict. Do you understand? Then it also enhances practical negotiation skills through exercises and role-playing scenarios that promote effective communication and problem solving. Now, this is where we're going to deploy the instrument of Peace Clinic. You know our Peace Clinic now. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, we have what we call the Peace Clinic. The Peace Clinic is an online studio, all right? We can at least invite like 10 people in the studio for discussion. So we'll assign a topic. It may be a simulation topic, it may be a role-playing topic, it may be any form of topic based on what we want you to understand. And then you come into the studio and then demonstrate it. That you'll be online. It can be an argument, it can be a sort of conflict, and then we want to expect how you are going to mediate, how you are going to facilitate discussion in this kind of conflict. Do you understand? So we're going to bring you in the studio to demonstrate that. So, and the last one we tried to use it did not work, where people were giving us excuse why they didn't join and all of that. But this one is going to constitute your assignment. It's assignment, and we're going to award you 30% for participating. So we know that we have 800 people that register for this training. So we're going to group you in groups, maybe groups of 30, 40, as the case may be. So if you fall in that group and you participate, or whether your group participate and you because we cannot bring everybody in the studio, some of you will be online supporting and commenting to show that you support and you're involved in the discussion. Do you understand? So you can choose among yourself those that you send to come in the studio online to discuss. You can choose them, and then some of you can stay back and participate in answering questions in the comment section, or questioning even your team members. Do you understand? So we're going to group you into groups, and you choose your group leaders who will come in and facilitate the discussion. And it's going to be 30%. Do you understand? So we have to take it very, very serious. That I hope we are not misunderstanding ourselves. So that's what so that you practicalize what you are learning. That's what we want. You practicalize what you are learning in this training. Negotiation skills. You come and negotiate something. We give you a topic that will go for negotiation skills. So you come and negotiate it. Do you understand? We may decide to bring two groups. You come and negotiate against each other. Do you understand? So maybe we feature two groups in one day. Do you understand? In the peaceful negotiation, we may decide to share two groups in that's a conflicting parties. Do you understand? And then another group will serve as a mediating group. Do you understand? And then we are discussing mediation. Do you understand? So this is what it means. So everybody should be willing to participate, but we are going to assign you in groups attached to it, and so you can choose your leaders, those that know that they will not be afraid, that can come into the studio and discuss, and then you will be supporting them from the comment section while the meeting is live. I hope I make my point clear. If you do not participate, believe me, you will not graduate, or you will graduate without certificate. So if you go and tell somebody that you learned alternative dispute resolution, what is your evidence to show? No evidence to show, right? So that's what it means. So identify appropriate situation for applying different ADR methods and develop strategies for selecting the most suitable approach for specific. We may ask you a question, and then we'll ask you to determine which of the ATR process that can be suitable to address this problem. Do you understand? We can ask you that kind of question in our peace clinic, and then you will have to address it. So examine the legal and the ethical implications of ADR. All right, so we're going to look at the legal aspect of it as well. Does ADR have any legal backgrounds or anything that has to be, So in this case, we're going to look at confidentiality, enforceability, and then the role of the law in ADR processes. Do you understand? So how does law come into play when it comes to ADR? Do you understand? At what time are you going to deploy the instrumentality of the law or the court, for instance, maybe to resolve your difference? Do you understand? So we will discuss that as well. And then we also are going to look at, you will learn some techniques for managing conflicts, including active listening, empathy, and assertiveness to promote constructive dialogue. Do you understand? You're also going to analyze real-world case studies, all right, to understand the application of ADR in various contexts, including commercial, family, and communal or community disputes. Do you understand? Whether it's a commercial dispute, it's a family dispute, it's a community dispute, you are going to see these ADR processes that can work in any of those processes. Do you understand? That's what it means. And then we'll talk about gain skills in designing effective ADR process. You're going to gain insightful skills, tangible skills, all right? How you can define and design effective ADR processes that tailors to the needs of the parties involved. So including drafting agreement. You can also draft agreement. So based on the argument, based on what we have discussed, the parties agreed. So you begin to write the agreement. So that even in the peace clinic, you can write the agreement. At the end of the day, you will mention what you people have agreed on in the course of the discussions and conversation, or in the mediation process, or in the facilitation process. Do you understand? And then setting rules. You also set rules, all right? Grand rules, like, okay, in this conversation, this is how it's going to be. This is what is going. You state your problem. You say your own. You say your own. You say your own. No interruption. You are not to interrupt anybody when the person is speaking. So all of this, we are going to practicalize it. So it's going to be a full of practical exercise. This training is going to be full of what? Practical exercise. So encourage self-reflection on personal conflict resolution styles and how they can impact ADR outcomes and relationship. So these are the objectives that we're going to consider in this training, all right? So let's look at some of the learning outcomes. What are the learning outcomes? At the end of the day, at the end of the training, what should you demonstrate? What are the expectations? What are the things that we expect to see you exhibit? And one of the things that we are going to see you exhibit are going to be demonstrated during the peace clinic. So we are not going to wait till the end of the training. In the course of the training, you demonstrate certain abilities and we must see them. Do you understand? So what are those abilities that you are going to demonstrate in the course of this training? Students will be able to define and explain key terms and concepts related to ADR, that's including mediation, arbitration, and negotiation. Right? Students will also be able to compare and contrast various ADR methods, identifying their advantages and disadvantages in different contexts. So you consider the advantages of mediation and disadvantages of mediation in this context, and then another context you also, do you understand, negotiation, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. We're going to outline all of that. Students will demonstrate the ability to select and apply appropriate ADR techniques to resolve specific types of conflict or disputes. Students will demonstrate or will develop and demonstrate effective facilitation skills, because we're going to create a topic that will be so, challenging. Do you understand? That will be so argumentative. So we want to know how you can resolve such, how you can deploy your facilitation skills to be able to negotiate or mediate such kind of conflict. Also, students will understand the legal frameworks, all right, and ethical considerations surrounding ADR, including confidentiality and the enforceability of agreements. So, because when it comes to arbitration, the proceedings of the arbitration are at some point enforceable. So, how do you do it? At what point are you going to enforce this? And how will the law comes into play when it comes to arbitration? Do you understand? Students will be able to design customized ADR processes tailored to the needs of the parties involved, including drafting mediation and arbitration agreement. All right. Students will also identify and apply effective conflict resolution strategies to manage interpersonal and organizational disputes. Yes, we can give you case studies. Organization Party A, which is organization Dangote versus the state government, or Dangote with the federal government, or Dangote with NNPC over the issue of crude oil distribution. How are you going to resolve this conflict? So we'll have parties that will represent Dangote and parties that will represent the state, the federal government, or the NNPC, as the case may be, and then we'll have another party that may serve as a mediating. Or do you understand? And then we'll see how you will negotiate this kind of conflict. It's very important, right? That's a good thing. So students will critically analyze case studies to evaluate the effectiveness of ADR methods in real-world scenarios. All right. So students will also assess their personal conflict resolution styles and understand how these styles can impact their roles in ADR processes. Students will also enhance their communication skills, enabling them to engage constructively with disputing parties and facilitate discussions. All right. So these are the learning outcomes that we want to see you demonstrate. Are we together? Are you following me? All right. Are you following me? We would like to see these practical skills demonstrated by you at the end of this training. So, in fact, we are not just going to wait, because at the end of this training, you will be somewhere else. Maybe you go and demonstrate it in the organization. But why, in the course of this training, we want to assess you, we want to evaluate you to know whether you acquire these skills and you can actually apply them. That's what we're talking about. So for those of you that just joined us, you don't just remember that you need to share with someone, share with your loved ones, share it on your walls. Let them also know that something like this is happening here so that you can benefit them. So the share is very important. It's also one of the things that we're going to use to take your attendance. As we're talking about now, somebody is taking your attendance, all right? So it's very, very important that you should consider doing something like that. So let's go ahead with the training. So we're going to start with module 1. All right. Are you ready to start the module 1 of this training? All right. So if you are ready, I think I'm also ready so that we can do the journey together. So in module 1, we're going to look at introduction to alternative dispute resolution. So we are going to look at unit 1, which is overview of dispute resolution. Overview of dispute resolution. So what are the things we are going to consider here? We're going to define dispute resolution. What is dispute resolution? Or what is conflict resolution? All right. We're also going to look at the comparison between the litigation and ADR. That's comparison between litigation and ADR. Litigation, I'm talking about, when we talk about litigation, you know what it means now. Court cases. So we're going to compare court cases with what ADR processes. You understand? So we're also going to look at, under unit 1, we're also going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of ADR over traditional litigation. What are there advantages? What about the consequences? What about the disadvantages? We're going to look at all of that in unit 1. In unit 2, we're going to look at the principles and theories of ADR. In unit 2, we're going to look at what principles and theories of ADR. So you're going to look at understanding the principles of ADR, theories behind ADR processes, ADR as a complement to the legal system. How does ADR complement the legal processes or system? You're going to also look at that in unit 2. In unit 3, we're going to look at the types of ADR. What are the types, the various types of ADR? So you are going to look at mediation. So in mediation, we're going to look at the process, role of mediators, benefits, and the challenges that confront mediators. All right. We're also going to look at arbitration. You look at the processes, types of arbitration. You are going to look at the enforceability of awards, because in arbitration we don't call it court judgment. We don't call it judgment. We call them awards. They are, I give awards. Do you understand? You award this and this and this. Do you understand? So you're going to look at that, the enforceability of the awards, and then we look at negotiation. You look at the strategies, styles, and techniques for negotiation. So these are the things we're going to cover in unit what? In module 1. These are the things we're going to cover in module 1. So please stay tuned. Try and manage your network to remain online to enjoy this module 1. Do you understand? Because it's the introduction, it's the foundation. You need to have the knowledge of the foundation. It's very important. So try and manage. If your network is fluctuating, try still manage it to be online. All right. So that you can have the foundation. Is very important. Don't miss this class. It's very important. Don't miss it. Don't miss it at all. It will give you, it is like the pillar of the training on which you can stand and understand any concept we are going to discuss here, because we're going to go deep into mediation, advanced aspect of mediation and all of that. But the foundation that we're studying here today will give you the privilege to understand even the advanced concept of all those terminologies that we're going to consider here. All right, so let's go into it. So now we're looking at overview of dispute resolution. So definition of dispute resolution. How do you define dispute resolution? Dispute resolution refers to the methods and processes used to resolve conflicts or disagreements between parties. It encompasses a variety of techniques and approaches, all right, aimed at finding a satisfactory solution without resorting to what litigation. If all the steps, the processes you put in place to resolve conflict, resolve disputes outside the court is what we are referring to as dispute resolution. Anytime you make effort to resolve any conflict without going to court, what you simply are able to achieve is dispute resolution. And that's what we call alternative dispute resolution. You understand? So now, the primary goal of dispute resolution is to address and settle dispute in a way that is efficient, cost effective, and mutually agreeable. That is, the parties to the dispute all come together and make effort to solve their own problem. They don't call a third party decision making like the court to come into it. They resolve problems out of what courts. And this is cost effective. It's also time less consuming. It's very, very efficient. Do you understand? That's what dispute resolution helps you to achieve. Then let's look at alternative dispute resolution. What do you call it? When we talk about alternative dispute resolution, why are we calling it? Why are we adding alternative? We talk about dispute resolution and we're talking about alternative dispute. Why should we call it alternative? All right. Alternative dispute resolution refers to a range of processes that help parties resolve disputes without going to court. A range of processes that help you to resolve conflict without going to court. All right. So those processes, what are they? Negotiation, arbitration, mediation, conflict resolution. Do you understand? So ADR encompasses various methods, including mediation, arbitration, and negotiation. So those are the ones that we're talking about. So it offers you several benefits, saves you a lot of stress, saves you money, saves you time. Instead of every day going to court, in our own system here, I'm talking about, I don't know, in other environment, court cases are always adverse very fast, but no matter how fast they are, they're also time consuming. It does not mean that in ADR you go, it's possible that when it comes to ADR, you can resolve a case in a day. Do you understand? Within 24 hours, you can resolve a case. 2 weeks or 2 days, you can resolve a case. But when it comes to court cases, they can adjourn a case for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So but ADR, you can resolve a case immediately. Do you understand? So now, let's look at key concepts of ADR. What are the key concepts of ADR? I hope you are following me. What are the key concepts of ADR? One, mediation. Mediation. What is mediation all about? A neutral third party. A neutral third party. That tells you that in dispute, there may be two parties against each other, right? Then there may be one that is standing in between. Please don't dispute, don't fight, don't disagree. So you have disagreed. Let's resolve this disagreement. Do you understand? That's what we're talking about here. A neutral third party. The mediator. We call them the mediator. All right? She facilitates a conversation between disputing parties to help them reach a mutually acceptable agreement. He is not imposing his decision. You are only a third party to facilitate the parties in conflict to take a decision. That's why we call you a mediator. Do you understand? You are not enforcing anything. You are not imposing anything. You are not even taking side. You are a neutral. Neutral. Understand the concept? Neutral. Neutral third party. You have no interest in anybody. You are interested in solving the problem. That's all. And helping the parties to solve the problem. In fact, you are not even solving the problem. You are only helping the parties in conflict to solve their problem. You understand? So mediation is typically voluntary. It's voluntary. Do you understand? It's voluntary and it's not binding at all. Whatever decision you take in the mediation process is not binding on anybody. The parties can decide to renege on the agreement they have made by themselves. By themselves. Do you understand? I'll tell you, yes, I agree. Tomorrow I woke up and tell you, no, I did not agree. And even if I agree, I'm changing I change. I change my decision. I'm not party to that again. Do you understand? And it's not binding. You walk away. That is mediation for you. It's not binding at all. It's voluntary, and the third party who is coming is a voluntary thing. Sometimes the parties to conflict may decide to identify a mediator to come in. For instance, now, maybe disputing couples may decide to choose their pastor to mediate in their conflict. Do you understand? Is That's what it means. Oh, and a man come in, mediate in their conflict. That's what it means. So, but whatever that the mediation produce, it is not binding on the parties in the conflict. They may decide to just withdraw and go from it. Do you understand? That's what. And once a party into the conflict notice that you, the mediator, is trying to take side, or you have said something, or do a sign as if you are taking side, he may decide to end the process. He may not be party to that discussion. I hope you are understanding my point now. So let's go to arbitration. Arbitration. In this process, a neutral arbitrator hears both sides of the dispute and makes a binding decision. Are you hearing the difference now? In this process, a neutral arbitrator hears both sides of the dispute and makes what? A binding decision based on what he hears. Arbitration is often more formal than mediation. It's more what? Formal. That is, there are procedures that you follow. And so it makes it more formal than mediation. We are coming into where we look. We are going to go in depth. Do you understand? Tip into it so that you understand what I'm talking about. And then, so it's more formal than mediation, but less so than what the court proceedings. It's less when you compare it to court proceedings. Do you understand? But it has a formal process. That's arbitration. But also it's a neutral. There too is a neutral. You are not to take side. You are not to show interest in anyone. All right. You have to remain neutral and try to resolve the conflict. That's what it means. All right. Now let's look at negotiation. Negotiation. The parties communicate directly to settle their dispute. This method allows for what? Flexibility and control over the outcomes. The parties communicate directly to settle their dispute. When it comes to negotiation, that is, we come at the table here, all right? You discuss, we discuss. You say your point, I say my own. You argue. Or for instance, okay, let's take it this way. Let me give you a very typical example. A very typical example. You go to the provision store to buy something. Do you understand? That's negotiation. You go and you negotiate. When the seller tells you the price, you negotiate. The buyer, you negotiate. Do you understand? So it doesn't matter whether it's conflict. And in fact, when it comes to such kind of exchange, there's a kind of Interest is in place. Do you understand? Value is in place. Do you understand? Expectations are in place. Needs are also in place. So it's possible. It's conflict you are trying to resolve. We have different values. We have different perspectives. The seller has different perspective. The buyer has different. The seller wants to make and maximize profit is possible. Why the seller wants to benefit the value of what affordability. Do you understand? So that's what it means. Apart from the other values that he will drive from the product, he wants to also buy them at a cheaper rate. So in this kind of situation, there's a negotiation. So they negotiate and resolve their differences of maximizing profit and differences of affordability. Do you understand? These I'm giving you a typical example of things that you do that you may not know that what you are doing is negotiation. So this method allows for flexibility and control over the outcome. So you can be, of course, if you come to buy, the buyer may say 200, he can still beat it down based on the negotiation process. Do you understand? Can beat it down to 150, 100, as the case may be. Depends on your ability to negotiate very well. Do you understand? So let's look at litigation. Litigation involves taking a dispute to court. You have a disagreement, you go straight to court. I will see you in the court of law. In our own country here, when you tell somebody, I will see you in the court of law, they will tell you, I am already waiting for you there. Do you understand? So, but maybe in other crime, when you tell somebody, I am going to court, they begin to find a way to see how we can settle out of court. But in our environment here, when you say, see you in court, they say, I'm there waiting for you since. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So where a judge or a jury makes a legally binding decision. Legal binding decisions. And you know that these decisions are always biased. They are biased because they favor one person. It's in rare cases, rare situation that you see a court case that, is lenient enough to benefit both parties. But in most cases, there's a loser and a winner. Do you understand? So enmity is instantly created. Enmity instantly created by court decisions. So litigation. So anytime you take a case to court, this is what you're doing. You have bypassed the 8 yard, you go straight to court. You don't want to make effort to resolve the conflict. Straight. See you in court. Litigation. Now, one of the objectives that we have mentioned have been fulfilled, right? We say that you should be able to define this concept. We have defined them. Now, if I ask you to define this concept, can you define them? So if you know you can define them, paraphrase, define them, let me hear, based on what you have you have learned. Define them in the comment section. Let me know that you are learning something. Because we say that at the end of the training, or one of the objectives of this training, we say that you should be able to define this concept. Now, you know the difference between mediation. You know the difference between negotiation, mediation, negotiation, arbitration, and litigation today. So if anybody asks you about this concept, no, you will not be confused again. All right? We say mediation, where a third party take decisions without a binding order. Do you understand? They only facilitate, they don't do anything. But an arbitrator, we say arbitrator take binding decision based on what he listen to the party says. Do you understand? He take a binding what decision, but it's less compared to the court litigation. Do you understand? And then we'll talk about negotiation, whereby we say parties themselves, the parties in the conflict themselves come together and resolve their conflict by discussing it and finding solutions. Do you understand? That's negotiation. And then we'll talk about litigation. We'll say when you take your case or your problem or dispute to court of law, that court like the magistrate court, the high court, the appeal court, the Supreme Court, depends on which one. As you go, it calls what? Litigation. Once you file a case in the court of law, they call it litigation. So that's so. I think I've tried to just summarize the terminologies that we have used here now. So one of the objectives of this training has been fulfilled, which is to learn this concept. So you have understood this concept now. Is there anybody that does not understand? If you do not understand any of this concept, let me know. All right. If you do not understand, like I said, this training is very, very important for you because it's the foundation and you must stay. So try and battle with your network to remain here. You must be part of this training. And then also do way to share with others. Share the meeting on your wall. Let them know that something like this is happening here that can benefit them as well. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. We have so much to cover. Time has actually gone. So benefits of ADR. What are the benefits of ADR? In what ways do ADR benefit alternative dispute resolution? Cost effective. Cost what effective? ADR are less expensive. ADR processes are what? Less expensive compared to when you go to court. All right. So it often involves even shorter timelines and fewer legal fees. You pay fees, but just minimum. Do you understand? Yes. You can pay a mediator who comes in. Maybe in other environment like America, they pay on hourly basis. Do you understand? You can pay on hourly basis. That is per hour. The charges is per hour. So you can pay $100, you can pay $50, you can pay $20, you can pay $10, $8 per hour. Depends on how long the session lasts. Do you understand? So it's very cheap. It's very affordable anywhere. That is one of the benefits, cost effective. Another benefit is time saving. ADR processes are usually quicker than traditional court proceedings. Do you understand? They are usually quicker than what traditional court proceeding. ADRs are very fast, unlike the courts where the court will give adjournment next 3 months before they will convene. Because already there are so many cases to address. In fact, in our own environment, people are not so much using the ADR because they don't know what's all about. Everybody just take case to court. There are so many cases, court cannot even, they don't even know what to do. You understand? Some have not even been mentioned at all. When you hear it. There are some cases that they have adjourned to December. You can imagine. So time wasting, they waste your time. Right? So, but ADR, they save your time. Time saving. They will talk about confidentiality. Confidentiality. ADR typically offers more privacy than court cases, all right? All right, because court cases are always in the public. Everybody comes to listen. Most people can just walk in the court of law and listen to the proceedings. And when the judgment is passed, it's in the public. But ADR are so confidential. Do you understand? Whatever that is discussed remain in that room where it's being settled. Because as a third party that you are mediating or as an arbitrator, you keep everything as a confidential. You keep it very, very confidential. And ADR, for instance, now the mediation is based on what trust. Because sometimes parties to the conflict are choose their mediator based on trust. Like I cited the case of couples meeting their pastor. They feel that okay, their pastor can keep their secret. Do you understand? So they can trust you and select you to be their own mediator. Do you understand? And so they believe that you can keep the issue confidential. It's not something that you finish immediately you leave this place. You begin to say, yesterday it's not this man, his wife. You begin to mention names. I'm not saying that you cannot you can use their